The monastery bell starts ringing at the wrong time. Not dawn prayers, not midday, the middle of the night, frantic, uneven, the kind of ringing that means someone has seen something on the water they cannot explain. The monks of Lindisfarne have no army, no walls. 150 years of accumulated gold, silver, and absolute certainty that God would protect this island. It is the 8th of June, 793 AD. God does not show up. You do. Forget everything you think you know about Vikings. No horned helmet. That image was invented by a 19th century opera costume designer. Archaeological record is clear. Norse helmets were iron and leather, rounded, conical, functional. The only near-complete Viking helmet ever found, the Geirmundbu helmet from Norway, has a single iron nosepiece. No horns, no drama. You are 31 years old. You live on the western coast of Norway, near what historians will later call Hordaland. 6 acres of rocky, unforgiving soil. 2 cows, a wife, a debt to your jarl, a lord named Sigurd, that 4 harvests of grain have not cleared. The word Viking does not describe who you are. It describes what you do. Vikingur in Old Norse means roughly one who goes on expedition. It is a verb disguised as a noun. Most Norse people farm their whole lives and never raid once. You are a farmer who has decided this summer to go Viking. Farm gives you survival. The raid gives you a future. Sigurd is taking 29 men west. The target, an island monastery off the Northumbrian coast. Holy men, no garrison. Silver reported to be substantial. You sharpen your axe the night before departure. The iron head was expensive, 6 months of traded goods. The ash handle you carved yourself. You run your thumb along the edge until it bites. Ready. The ship is alive. The Havarn, Sea Eagle, is 23 meters long and 5 meters wide. She is built from oak felled 3 winters ago by Sigurd's own men. Clinker built, planks overlapping like fish scales, each seam packed with animal hair and pine tar until the hull is watertight and flexible. She bends in heavy swells instead of breaking. This is intentional. This is engineering. She draws barely 1 meter of water. She can cross the open North Sea. She can also sail up a river shallow enough to wade in. This versatility is why Viking raids reach so deep inland. Paris, Seville, up the Seine, up the Loire, up the Volga. The longship goes places no other vessel of this era can follow. Row in 4-hour shifts. Your oar is ashwood, worn smooth at the grip. The rhythm becomes unconscious after the first day. Pull, recover, until it syncs with your breathing and you stop thinking about it entirely. Food, dried horse meat, hard flatbread, salted cod, water from sealed barrels, weak ale when the water runs low. You eat with your hands, back against the hull, spray coming over the rail if the wind picks up. No shelter, no roof. If it rains, you get wet. If the sea runs heavy, you bail with wooden buckets and keep rowing. For bodily needs, you go over the rail while the man next to you keeps his oar moving. Nobody comments. This is just the ship. Sigurd navigates by instinct and inheritance. He watches gannets. They follow fish. Fish follow cold water currents. Currents parallel the coastlines. He has no chart. His father crossed this water. His grandfather before that. The knowledge lives in him the way farming knowledge lives in you. Not written, not explained, just known. On the second night, the northern lights move across the sky in green sheets. 30 men go quiet at once. The Norse call this the Bifrost, the trembling bridge between worlds, the road the gods walk. You watch it for a long time. You take it as permission. What you carry into battle. The popular imagination puts every Viking in chainmail. The reality is more complicated. A full brynja, iron chainmail hauberk, costs the equivalent of several years of a farmer's income. It exists. Warriors of rank own it. You are not yet a warrior of rank. You wear a padded linen gambeson, quilted thick enough to absorb a glancing blow, layered with a leather vest hardened by soaking in beeswax. It is not glamorous. It works.
Path is clear.
Your round
we
shield
cannot
is
proceed through the
85
frost
centimeters
guard. We
across.
must. This is the
Lime
only way
wood
to the
planks
hammer.
glued
He's
edge
right.
to edge.
It's too risky. Risks
Iron
must
boss
be
at the
taken.
center to deflect sword strikes away from your hand. You painted it dark red. No particular reason. You had red pigment. Weapons. The axe, a long-handled skegux, heavy enough to split a shield or a door with the same swing. A short sword at your hip, a hand-me-down from your father, iron, not the best steel, but reliable. A sea axe, a long, single-edged knife tucked at the small of your back. Every Norseman carries a sea axe. It is less a weapon than a tool you occasionally use as a weapon. The berserkers are real, by the way. 2 men on this ship. They don't eat the morning before a raid. They work themselves into something, through breathing, through focus, through whatever private ritual they keep, that by the time the hull hits the beach, they are no longer entirely present in the normal way. They go first. Nobody argues with this arrangement. Lindisfarne, the morning of the 8th. The island appears at a pre-dawn fog like something that was always there, but you just couldn't see it. Tidal Island, connected to the Northumbrian coast by a causeway that floods at high tide. The monastery sits on the northern end. Stone buildings, a wooden church, outbuildings, gardens. The monks have been here since 635 AD. 158 years of gifts, donations, manuscripts, reliquaries, silver chalices, gold covers on holy books. No walls. Faith was the wall. 30 men slide off the hull into water to their waists and wade ashore in silence. No war cry, not yet. Sigurd holds one fist up and everyone stops. Cold water, wet grass, the smell of sheep and salt in the ocean. Somewhere inside, a bell begins to ring. Frantic, wrong-timed, the alarm. Sigurd's fist opens. The raid, 2 hours. You have not been trained in any formal military sense. What you have is this. You grew up wrestling. You threw spears at targets from the time you could hold one. You have slaughtered animals, set broken bones, survived Norwegian winters where the temperature kills the unprepared. Every man on this beach has a version of this same biography. The monastery gate is wood. It does not last. Inside, monks scatter. Some run toward the sea, nowhere to go, the tide is in. Some freeze in place. A few, to their credit, try to fight, with shepherd staffs, with bare hands, with a faith that the visible world is less real than the invisible one they've devoted their lives to. They are old men and young novices. This is not combat, it is disruption. Your axe is raised, mostly for compliance. A raised axe communicates across every language barrier. Men show you where things are. The scriptorium. You don't know this word, but you find the room with the painted books. The covers are gold and gemstones. The pages are covered in Latin script you cannot read. The pages are worth nothing to you. You know this and feel no particular guilt about knowing it. The chalices from the altar are silver. You know silver. Total time inside the monastery, just under 2 hours. Then Sigurd's horn, one long note, low and carrying, and everyone moves back toward the water. You are carrying one silver chalice, a length of fine wool cloth, deep blue, the kind that takes months to dye. A small iron-banded chest that turns out to contain illuminated pages and a monk's personal prayer beads. You drop the beads at the waterline. The pages blow away in the wind off the water. The chest was worth taking. The chest stays. The part the Sagas don't linger on.
No,
3
please.
monks come onto the
Have
ship.
mercy.
Young, strong, chosen deliberately. The Norse word is thrall. You know it as simply the word for slave, the way you know the word for cow or field or weather. It is part of the language of the world as it exists. In 9th century Scandinavia, roughly 1 in 10 people are enslaved. Dublin, the Viking settlement established on the Irish coast within decades of these first raids, becomes one of the largest slave markets in Europe. A healthy young male slave fetches the equivalent of 8 cows in Dublin market, more than 2 years of farming income. Slaves build the halls of the men who raided for them. They cruise ships. They work the farms of men who are too busy raiding to farm. The youngest of the 3 monks might be 19. He sits at the bow of the ship on the crossing back and stares east, at the direction the ship came from, the direction of everything he had. He doesn't speak. He has already understood the situation with a clarity that doesn't require translation. You don't speak to him either. You think briefly about your own debt to Sigurd, about the specific physical weight of obligation to a man who has more power than you. The distance between your situation and his is real. It is also, and this is the thought you push away, not infinite. You push it away. The ship needs rowing. The return, what silver feels like. The fjord narrows on the way home. Astrid is on the bank. Word travels faster than ships, even without roads. Fishing boats, coastal traders, the informal network of Norse coastal settlements. She has seen ships come home low in the water before. Low means heavy. Heavy means success. Division of spoils happens at Sigurd's hall that evening. Every man receives a share calculated by rank and contribution, adjudicated by Sigurd himself and witnessed by the crew. No written contract, no court. His word is the law, and it is, because he is a successful jarl, generally kept. A jarl who cheats his men doesn't stay a jarl. Your share, the silver chalice's melted value in hacksilver. Norse economy runs on weighed silver, not minted coins, which is why Viking hoards across Europe contain silver cut into irregular pieces. A length of cloth, 2 portions of grain, and 1 arm ring, silver, slightly twisted, Roman-made, pulled by Sigurd from a reliquary. He slides it to you across the table. It fits your left forearm exactly. You wear it home. For 3 nights there is real feasting. Roasted meat, mead. The skald, the poet, every raid crew has one, stands and begins composing a drapa, a praise poem, while the raid is still fresh enough to feel. He mentions the sea 17 times. He mentions the courage of the men. He mentions Sigurd by name at every 3rd stanza. He does not mention the 3 monks at the bow. This is how history gets written when only one side is composing the verses. The monks of Lindisfarne write the other version. The Anglo-Saxon Chronicle records it as a sign of divine judgment, a portent, a catastrophe. Both versions exist. Both are true. They are describing the same 2 hours from opposite sides of the same axe. What this life costs. Your debt to Sigurd, cleared. Your hands, 2 knuckles bruised. A cut across the left palm from a gate latch in the dark. No infection yet. This is the actual danger, not the raid but the weeks after. Wounds that look minor go septic. That is how Norse men die in their 30s. Your sleep. You don't say anything to Astrid, but for 3 weeks after the return, you wake before dawn and lie still in the dark, listening to the farm sounds, cattle, wind, the particular creak of your roof, until you're certain where you are. The farm, still 6 acres, still rocky, but now there is silver buried under the 3rd stone from the door. Enough for a 4th cow, enough to survive a bad harvest without borrowing from anyone. The arm ring, you keep wearing it, not as trophy, as reminder that the Western Sea exists, that you crossed it, that you came back. The verdict. You are teleported back. The Viking Age ran from 793 to 1066 AD, 273 years. In that time, Norse people raided the English coast, settled Iceland and Greenland, founded Dublin, colonized Normandy, established trade routes to Constantinople and Baghdad, and reached the coast of North America 5 centuries before Columbus. Leif Erikson's settlement at Longs O Meadows in Newfoundland was real. It was excavated. The carbon dating is confirmed. The men who did this were not mythology. They were farmers with debts and younger sons with no inheritance. and men who looked at the water and decided the risk of crossing it was more acceptable than the certainty of poverty. They were brutal. The historical record, their own sagas, the monastic chronicles of their targets, the archaeological evidence of mass graves is unambiguous on this. They were also the finest shipbuilders of their era, sophisticated traders, settlers. The cultural DNA of half of Europe runs through them. Rome told its story in marble and law. Egypt told its story in stone and hieroglyphs. The Norse told their story in ships, in verse, and silver worn on the arm. Some of those ships are still in museums, still intact, still beautiful, still somehow looking ready to go. The raid on Lindisfarne took 2 hours. The monks rebuilt within a generation. The Vikings kept coming for 300 years. Some things, once started, are very difficult to stop.